Today, I'm going to go into a little bit deeper of a topic within leadership. And today, I want to tell you a story about Frank DeLangelis. Now, Frank DeLangelis isn't someone that you probably know the name of, but you know where he's from when I tell you. He was a principal of Columbine High when those teachers and students lost their lives that day. And the part that I want to share with you isn't about that tragedy, but I want to talk about what happened after. After that tragedy, Frank committed to being the principal for every student that was part of the school district at the time that accident happened. And when he committed to do that, he was committing the long haul. He finished that mission in 2012 and retired from being the principal in 2014. And now this isn't a story that most people know about, but it's one that most people need to hear. Because what Frank did after that tragedy is he realized that without everybody being together and looking out for each other, we weren't going to be able to do this. That we needed to have a kind of one Columbine mindset approach. And he incorporated this story where in the beginning, on the first day of school, they would link chain links together. And this would symbolize that if one chain was missing or broken, that the strength of the chain was also broken. That in order to hold the weight of the school together, we needed to be all together. And he was always referred to as the student's principal because he was always asking how everybody else was doing and always making sure everybody else had everything going that they needed. And the approach that I want to highlight that he brought in that moment is what I've learned to call, and what is called within leadership teaching, is a heart-centered culture. One that's focused on the people, not necessarily the business. Now, this is a topic I'll probably be visiting a couple different times because this is a multi-threaded approach. And there's lots of different stories that I would love to bring to you. Just as a leader within business, this idea of being a heart-centered culture is something that is worth Googling. When you know that heart-centered word is something you can put in Google and you just Google heart-centered leadership or HCL, there's books on Amazon, consultants, you name it, it's a whole thread. Now, within the biblical context, it's generally referred to as servant leadership. But the idea of being a heart-centered leader is something we don't talk about a lot. And it wasn't something I talked about a lot or even knew about. And I always felt in my early leadership story, I didn't feel like I fit in. I didn't feel like I was understood, and I felt like my way of thinking was wrong. But once I found this idea of heart-centered leadership, I really connected with this is why I am the way I am, because I'm a heart-centered person that focuses on the people of the situation versus always focusing on the problem. And when you focus on the people are what are going to move the business. The business is ran by the people, and it's the people that are going to produce revenue. And so it's this heart-centered idea that allows many corporations to adopt it to do some of the big things that you know about. And one of the biggest ones that uses heart-centered leadership as their philosophy is Southwest. There's a lot of great stories that I could tell about Southwest and how they apply it. But you know that there's something in the water when you fly Southwest because of how they act and how they are. That is because of that leadership philosophy of being heart-centered. Their philosophy without a heart, it's just a machine. And that heart is the people. Why am I sharing this on a dad podcast? I'm sharing that because that approach is often the one that we also miss within fatherhood. Looking past the trauma, looking past our own issues, looking past whatever maybe our kids are currently doing in the moment and trying to see them as maybe someone that's just trying to be seen, trying to be understood, a person trying to just figure out their way into this world, no matter what age they might be at. And so I want to give you this word because this word can really help elevate and help you understand maybe you were like me that didn't know this word existed. Man, once you start Googling it and reading some great books, one of them that I would recommend is A Heart-Led Leader, which is a journey of 13 inches from your head to your heart. And that is where I heard that story of Frank DeLangelis and how he used the heart-centered leadership approach to kind of rebuild the culture of Columbine from one of the most tragic accidents and really the beginning kind of narrative of school shootings. And it's a story that nobody knows, but I hope now that you know it, you continue to spread that message of it can be fixed. Things can be healed. We just have to have the courage and the heart to go through it. And I'll be back again with you tomorrow.